So today I'm going to get into a little bit of battery testing. I actually did this a little while ago, but I didn't have time to get around to making a video. So I figured I'd get that out there now and answer some questions. I see some talk about it, and it's time to discuss it. So um, I picked Metal Gear Solid 5, and the reason I picked this game is because it runs pretty good on the LCD deck. At 1080p, it runs almost 60 FPS, kind of hovers around 55, 60. So it's a good candidate, just so we can do some comparisons. How everything runs at 1080p, how it runs on a stock LCD, and how it runs, if you set the game rendering for 720p. And, from my point of view, it looks good at 720p. 720p is a good alternative and will actually use less battery than the stock LCD. Now 1080p obviously looks better. That was kind of the point. But you wouldn't be surprised to find out that it does use quite a bit more battery in the games that can actually max out the GPU. If you're maxing it out on a stock LCD anyway, it's not going to make much of a difference. In performance-wise, it would, but not so much in battery life. So, as usual, I'm taking this with cell phone pointed straight at screens, and that doesn't turn out very well. So, it's not a very good indication of how well everything looks. I'm not sure that that'll come through on the video, but I guess maybe you can get kind of an idea. To me personally, sitting there looking at it, playing it, looks perfectly fine at 720p. Not as good as 1080p, but I'd rather play it on 720p than 800p on the LCD, that is. And if you caught one of my previous videos, you notice that DeckSight itself uses less power than the stock LCD. So really it's just up to what do we use when we run at 1080p versus 800p. And so the way I did this was I just, right here on this stage on Metal Gear Solid 5, I just sort of parked and put Snake right next to the stream there, so there was some stuff moving, and I just let the deck sit there for a while, and I didn't pull the charger plug until after I was already in position. So the battery was at 100%, got to where I wanted to be, pulled the plug, and then waited until the moment it shut off with a timer running, and then just recorded the numbers. So what I got for the stock LCD here is 2.5 hours, 2 hours 30 and 9 seconds. And if you caught my previous video where I sort of go through and show that DeckSight itself uses less power than the stock LCD does. So what it really boils down to is just the resolution you're running at. It taxes the GPU more. So, and that should come as no surprise to anyone, because it's pretty much how it goes on any device. So in the case of DeckSight here, we're running at 1080p. Which is the panel's native resolution. We come down to about an hour and a half. So that's a pretty fair reduction over the stock LCD. But the thing about it is, now you kind of have the option to go down and set the game to 720p. And, in my opinion, looks perfectly fine. I would be perfectly happy playing at 720p and enjoying an extra half hour of battery life over the stock LCD, because now at 720p we're up to 3 hours of battery life. So now we have the two options. If we're out and about and we want to save the battery, hey, just set the game to a lower resolution. You really don't have that option with stock LCD, because the stock LCD wasn't that good to begin with, and you're still getting the benefits of the OLED panel. So when you're at home and you're sitting on the couch and got it plugged in, hey, play at 1080p. So I remembered when Deck HD had come out, and I was curious if any of them did any battery testing. Something along the lines of what I showed here. And to my surprise, none of them did. Now I remember when all these guys were talking about the Deck HD and how wonderful it was, and I suppose maybe some people are wondering why they haven't heard more about DeckSight while there isn't more talk about it. Well, I reached out to some of the YouTubers out there, and you know, surprisingly enough, not one of them responded. So, I mean, you would think a higher resolution LCD versus an OLED upgrade. Well, maybe that might be something to talk about, but you know, it is how it is. So what I was actually looking for in my YouTube search here was I remember Taki Udon had did a color measurement on Deck HD, and I just wanted to grab a screenshot of that so I can compare it. And looks like he came up at 88% gamut coverage, and that's pretty good. It's better than a stock LCD. I mean, LCDs don't get that much better than that. But as I was doing a calibration on DeckSight here, um, looks like we came up with 100% of all the color measurement standards. So that sounds pretty good to me. I can't imagine that the stock OLED Steam Deck is much better than that. I don't own one, so I can't test. I mean, why would I own one? But anyway, thanks for watching, and go check out DeckSight.